Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. Today we are battling with the TV next door where my kiddos are seated, but also we're going to make some freezer meals for December. I am going to make some freezer meals first out of some of the leftover turkey that we have from Thanksgiving. And then I thought I'd make some out of, we were able to find a larger bag of meatballs on sale at our local grocery store. So I'm going to do some soups with that too. First thing I'm going to do is make some turkey enchiladas out of our leftover turkeys. So thankfully we were able to get a turkey big enough this year and have leftovers. So I'm going to make an enchilada casserole instead of rolling up each individual enchiladas. And I'm actually going to make two, one for my kids and one for me and my husband, because we still have some green sauce in the fridge, and my husband and I are the ones that like the green sauce. It has a little bit more, we get like the medium spice level on that, and then my kids will do the red sauce and they like the mild flavor. So that's why I'm doing two. And we are actually going to eat these for dinner tonight because it's almost 2 o'clock now, and usually when I do the freezer meals, I never think about making dinner for us that night. So this time I'm going to do that and prep it and make it for dinner tonight. But you could definitely, if you were doing this just as a freezer prep, go ahead and make your enchiladas and then put them in the freezer for you at a later time or for dinner the next day. So let's get to this. Okay, we were able to save quite a bit from our turkey, so I just went ahead and diced it all up here. And I didn't separate out the light from dark. I just mixed it all together. If you have a preference, you can separate it out. I just, like I said, we don't have a preference, so we just mixed it up all together. So I think it'll work out great. Also, excuse my nails. My nails were chipping really badly, so I just chipped them off really quickly so I wouldn't get it mixed in the food, and then wash my hands. So we're going to make the enchilada casseroles. We're going to take this this is just kind of a cheater way to make it, is what I call it, because it's super, super simple. I'm just going to spray the bottom of the pan, both pans. We're going to do one at a time, actually, because one, or I don't know, maybe we'll try to do both at the same time. Let's see. So you're going to spray the bottom of your pans. You're going to need your meat of choice. Enchilada casserole is also a really great way to use up leftover meat. So if we make a roast or chicken or something like that and we just have a little bit left, this is a great way to stretch it and make it a whole nother meal. I'm going to use, like I said, green sauce for one, red sauce for the other one, and then corn tortillas and cheese, and we're just going to layer it through. Oh, I'm going to add spinach. I just bought this today, so for my husband and I, I'm going to add a layer of spinach in there also, because I know we'll enjoy it. My kids might not as much, especially my youngest one. Once he gets to that like veggie and tastes it, he won't want to eat the rest of the meal. So I'm just going to put down a layer of tortillas on the bottom here, and they're going to overlap, and that's okay with me for this bottom layer. And then you'll see I'll kind of tear apart them. And then again, instead of what you would do if you were making enchiladas, is you would want to have oil that is warmed up in a pot, and then you want to put the tortillas in a pan, and then you'd want to put the tortillas in the pan, in the oil first, and then you would want to transfer it and put it in your enchilada sauce, and it will make your tortillas taste better because it's dipped in oil, but also it makes the sauce stick a little better to the actual tortillas. But since I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to spray it again. So down underneath it, I should have poured a little sauce before we started, but I didn't do that, but not a big deal. I'm just going to do it now as I'm getting these going. So another little hack here that I do is I just use a pastry brush, and I will dip it into our sauce. And that's how I'll pour it on. You want to make sure that you don't get anything on the brush though, because especially if you're going to save, you're not using up all the sauce, so that you don't contaminate it afterwards. it is gonna, your pastry brush is gonna get a little bit of oil on it, but if you don't mind your sauce having oil, it's not that too big of a deal. If I have leftover sauce, what I usually do is freeze it, and then freeze it in smaller cans, in smaller like silicone cupcake molds or something like that, and then we can pop them out. Or if you wanted even like individual servings, you could freeze it in ice cube trays, and then you have individual ones. So let's get the green sauce going. And then you're just gonna layer your ingredients. So I'm gonna put in some turkey, put in some spinach, kind of go a little light in between the layers with the cheese and stuff like that, just to save us a little bit. And then on the top is when I'll put it completely. So then then it feels like there's, you know, more cheese there. Okay, the next time I do it, I usually kind of start breaking these around. I don't know if I really have a rhyme or reason to why I do this, or I just do it because now it's habit. I could do another layer. I could fit another layer in the pan here, and it would bring it like right to the top, which would be great. But I'm gonna stop here just because I'm just gonna do the 2 layers, because I'm also gonna make some rice with it tonight, and I think that that's plenty. That'll be plenty for us to eat. So the top layer usually gets more cheese, you can see. You could also put some black olives on here if you wanted to. You could put some onions in here. I know my husband would have really liked if I threw some onions in there, but I didn't chop the onions. So we're just gonna cook it like this, and then when we go to eat tonight, I'll put some fresh onions on it as I serve it. Okay, this is a new to me recipe, and instead of making it a freezer family meal, I'm going to make this into freezer like lunch prep meals for my husband and I. So this is going to be like a turkey risotto, and I'm gonna put in some broth. It says to have some broth warm on the side, and then we're gonna saute some veggies up here. So this is actually turkey broth that we made from our turkey bones. So I'm gonna put that over broth actually in here to get warmed up. Put the whole thing in there. So we're gonna put that in there. There are instructions. If you've ever cooked with me, you know that I loosely follow it. It's like guidelines. It's not. So that's what we're doing here. So in here, I am going to put in, I'm actually just gonna use a little bit of coconut oil. I think the recipe calls for olive oil maybe. I will link the recipe for you, so you can follow the recipe exactly if you like, but I'm gonna get this going, and then I'm gonna put in some garlic and onion. So I did wash my knife. I just washed it so we don't dirty 20,000 dishes, and then I'm just gonna use the same one again. So here's some onions. Also gonna add in a good helping of garlic, and then it says to also add in mushrooms. So let me grab those. I'm not going to use fresh mushrooms. I'm just going to use this pieces and stems. I bought a can of mushrooms. I'm going to use about half of it. If it was for me, honestly, I'd use the whole can, but I'm a bigger fan of mushrooms than my husband is. So I'm just going to use like maybe half of it. So it says to heat this through for just a couple of minutes, and then rice and thyme to this. So to this, you're supposed to add a quarter teaspoon of dried thyme. I'll say it's about a quarter teaspoon. And then a cup of rice. I don't know if you need to rinse this kind of rice, but I did. And then let this cook for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna add in a cup of wine and let that kind of burn off. You could use, I think you can use like white wine vinegar if you didn't use wine, but whatever you have. And then we're gonna let this simmer and keep adding broth to it, the warm broth, about half a cup at a time until it's all been absorbed. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I'm gonna let it simmer. It's probably one of those recipes that you shouldn't turn your back to it, but since I'm gonna be making other things, I'm gonna turn my back to it. So I'm gonna put this in and just kind of let it simmer. And keep an eye on it because the next meal we're going to make is really simple, so I can turn back around if need be. Okay, this next meal is ridiculously simple. I have made the chicken pot pie filling before, but we're going to make turkey pot pie filling for this, and I'm just going to dump in some cooked turkey. We're going to put in some cream of mushroom. You can use the canned one if you have it. I had made some extra and then froze them, so I'm just going to add in these. So that's cream of mushroom and then some mixed veggies and put it in there, and then I will have 2 more meals done. I've got 2 cups of turkey in here, and I think that will do well, and then we can put it either in with some pie crust, or we can throw it in a casserole dish and do it with biscuits, or you can put it in your Instapot, and then if you add a cup of water, it'll make like a turkey pot pie soup. So these 2 are done. I'm gonna go back and check on this risotto in the background here. Oh, it looks so pretty. I did end up adding just like maybe another 1/4 cup of broth to it, and I think it's good. And then we're going to add in the remaining ingredients. So that is, let me just check this rice. Actually, since I'm going to put these in for my husband and I to like reheat, I think that's good. It's not finished. It's still a little al dente. So I'm going to go ahead and add in it says to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we're just going to kind of eyeball it. I'm going to turn the heat off, and then about 1½ cups of cooked turkey. So here is some more of our turkey. And then it also says to add in 2 tablespoons of shredded Romano cheese, but I don't have any. I'm going to leave the cheese out for now. I'm sure that the cheese probably brings this dish to a whole nother level, but I think it's going to be okay just like this. I do wish kind of it had a pop of green in there. I wonder if you could add like peas, if that would taste okay. I might go ahead and put like a handful of peas in here for my husband and I too, because I don't know, I just feel like that pop of green would be good. And I think, I don't know, do peas go okay with risotto? Comment and let me know. We've never really made it before, so I'm not sure, but I think it would go all right. So I'm going to let this cool, and then I'm going to put them into meal containers for my hubby and I. Okay, I have still plenty of turkey left over, and what I went ahead and did was just divide it into 2 baggies, and I kind of weighed it out, and it's roughly about 1 pound each, and I'm just going to leave it like this. I thought for a second of making another enchilada casserole, but honestly, I don't have room in the freezer for a whole casserole dish, so I think this is going to be fine like this, having these. You could use these. We already did make some soup with it, so if we wanted to do that at another time, we could. You could make tacos from it. You could make burritos. You could make another casserole with it because it's already done, and I just have to layer it that day. But just tons of stuff. You could like when you buy a rotisserie chicken and you shred it and take it apart. I would put in turkey for that as well. So I'm going to put these away just like that, and then I'm going to get started on the next thing that I'm going to make, and that's going to be a meatball soup. It's like a meatball vegetable soup. It's not albondigas, which at first that's what I was thinking in my head, but we have made this before, and it uses pasta sauce. And it's really tasty and yummy. So I'm going to get started with that. It calls for 1 pound of carrots for each bag. I'm going to make 2 bags of it. We just have some whole carrots, so I'm just going to cut them and then kind of roughly see which is about 1 pound each. I'm going to save the tops and the ends, and we have a bag in the freezer that I keep in there for broth. So you can keep the ends and bits and pieces of your veggies and then make a veggie broth from it too. So I'm going to save those to do that, but let's get chopping and get this finished up. Okay, so to each bag, I just have the carrots and onion in here. And then I'm going to put in, it says 5 ounces of spinach, but again, I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it and throw some in. A can of, it says cannellini beans. I have Great Northern beans. I think it'll be the same. I really want to try to get this smashed down because it's kind of a lot of ingredients in here. The next thing we're going to do is add pasta sauce. The recipe does call for a jar for each bag, so 24 ounces for each one. But I had a couple of little homemade pasta sauce cubes that I'm going to throw in there because usually I have more veggies hidden in my pasta sauce. And then I'm also going to add in the meatballs, and I'm gonna stop right there. I know this one has 2 and this one has 1. I was gonna go ahead and divide up this pasta sauce jar in it, but I think for the sake of freezing, I'm going to wait until the day of to add more pasta sauce if it needs it there. I think that'll be good. I have done it where I've added the pasta sauce, like a jarred pasta sauce, straight to it, and it will work. It does freeze. It is a pretty heavy bag, but since I don't have room to like really lay it down neatly in the freezer, I'm going to go ahead and do it this way with the frozen pasta sauce that I did have, and then like I said, the day of I can kind of take a look and see if I want to add some more to it. I know that I probably will, because especially in this one that only had the 1, that's only like half a cup of pasta sauce, so I'll for sure want to add some more this day. Okay, for the risotto, I'm going to kind of cut it in half and then cut these in half and see if maybe this side So my husband uses these plastic meal prep containers from Fit Packer, and then I use these glass ones here at home. And these are actually a little bit smaller than these. Plus also he's away at work, so what he packs is what he has, and I'm here at home. So I think if I eat it and I'm like, oh, I'm still hungry, I can easily get another snack where it might be a little bit more difficult for him. So I am going to give him a bigger portion. If it turns out we like this recipe, we can make it again because I have more of the turkey that's cooked, or we can substitute it with something else too. And then I have a little bit of peas left in here, so I am going to sprinkle them in and hope they taste okay. I'm just going to saran wrap one of mine because I think I'm actually going to put this one in the fridge for me tomorrow. But these 2 are going to go in the freezer, so that's why they're going to get an extra layer of protection. Okay, and then that's going to do it for our December freezer meal preps. We made 2 Enchilada Casseroles. We are actually going to go through these tonight for us, but these could easily be done for the freezer as well. We did 1 red, 1 green. We also made 3 lunches for my husband and I. So this is the turkey risotto, and then we made 2 meatball soups back here, 2 turkey pot pie fillings, and then on another day I will maybe make some pie crust for the freezer or just buy some and toss them in there, and then those will be done. Or like I said, you can throw it in the Instant Pot with a cup of water and then make like a soup out of it instead, or throw it in a casserole dish and top it with biscuits, because that's also delicious. And then finally we have 2 1-pound baggies of the cooked ground turkey, or the, I want to say ground turkey, it's not grounded, cooked turkey that we could use for soup, or we could use for another type of casserole, or even tacos or anything like that. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you liked this video. If you did, would you be sure to give it a thumbs up? Maybe check out some of our other videos and see if you'd like to subscribe and join our little YouTube family. And again, I thank you for hanging out with me in the kitchen. It truly means the world to me that you take your time and watch these videos. Thanks again.